Hi guys, I'm Tash and today I'm with Heemali. Hiya.
Hello.
Hey. So on the platform, you've got trauma informed and trauma sensitive yoga and then yoga for hen and stag. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about the trauma informed and sensitive yoga?
Mhm.
So who is that for? What is trauma and what can you expect?
So, um, trauma is huge. So, I'll try and keep it short and sweet. But usually, when we experience any type of trauma, whether it be emotional or physical, we usually hold it in our body.
Hmm.
And our emotions usually cause a lot of stagnation through our body as well, and it is quite hard to release. So sometimes even if you do talking therapies, you might find that you still struggle to let go of certain things or certain situations because they're still quite embedded through your body. So both of these practices are made to kind of work with that individual in releasing. So we use things like breath work, we use sound, we use mantra, we use movements. Sometimes we even use stillness depending on the situation and that individual person. So both of these sessions are slightly different. So the trauma informed yoga is just a generic approach to someone that may have experienced some type of trauma. So, we wouldn't use any triggering words, it would be gentle movements. And it would just be a really calm, nice practice where if it was in person, we wouldn't use any hands-on adjusts and things like that. We would be very mindful to that person and what they may have experienced. With trauma sensitive yoga, it's very specialized to that individual person. So, if you've experienced anything like PTSD or anxiety or depression, things like that, the specific movements and breathwork routines that we would use in order to help that person heal and to give that person some tools to self-regulate in their own time as well. So everything that you do in my sessions, you should be able to do at home on your own, and yeah, hopefully help you on the road to recovery, really.
Perfect. And do you offer these online and in person?
Yeah, so there's two types. So you can either have it online, so you can be based anywhere in the world, which some people find slightly easier and they find it more comfortable to be in their own home, especially if they have experienced some type of trauma. And then I also offer it in person in London and in Cambridge in various different locations as well. So that can be quite flexible for some people, and they're quite easy accessible locations as well.
Okay. So this is all new to me in a way, but what comes to mind for me is I know that sometimes hip opening, I could be totally wrong, hip opening exercises, not exercises, yoga positions, bring about maybe like emotions because
Mhm.
it can be stored, I guess, in the body, in the hips, certain emotions. So is it kind of playing on that? So certain postures will potentially release some kind of energetic stagnation that's held with the
Yeah.
trauma, right?
Yeah, exactly. Things like that. And also, on the other side of that, hip opening postures could be, they're very vulnerable positions. If you think about being in a yoga class and you're opening up your hips, for a lot of people, that is a really vulnerable place to be. And, things like downward dog. So it's just being mindful with these postures that you can offer variations as well. So for example, if you're working with someone that has suffered any type of sexual trauma, then you wouldn't necessarily use those postures because they would be quite triggering and actually not a nice place for them to be. And you would then ease them in slightly. So you would offer different variations, knees bent, you wouldn't they would be facing a wall instead of a person, just things that seem very little, which actually make a huge difference for a lot of people. But yeah, so certain movements, for example, I do a lot of somatic check-in. So I do a lot of, can you feel your spine? How does it feel here? Where are your bones sitting? All of this kind of stuff. So you're really connecting fully with your body, and you're able to find those places where you're holding more tension. And for a lot of women, this is very generic, but for a lot of women, we tend to hold a lot of stuff in our womb area. So you do find, even with how women walk and how we hold ourselves, it's very interesting to see when we start releasing things how our posture changes as well. So
Mm.
yeah, it's a whole process really. But you feel it in your own body, and it's very apparent when you start to release things.
Hmm. So therefore, it has beneficial aspects in the body, like physical as well as your mind, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
With the like trauma aspect of it, then do people come to you knowing their trauma? Is that something that is discussed? Is that something you dig deeper on, or is it generally like this will help you in a way release trauma that you don't even need to know what the name is of that?
Sure, yeah, exactly. So either or, really. The trauma informed sessions are more for people that, may have experienced something in life, but they're not sure, but they find, that some situations cause them some anxiety and things like that. They get slightly nervous. The trauma informed sessions would work for those people. If you have experienced a certain traumatic event, which we would class as PTSD, it would have to be slightly more severe, then you would have a trauma sensitive session, because you would know where that trauma is coming from, and we can really focus on releasing that, and how it makes you feel, and how it does affect your life in a whole. So that's kind of the difference between the two. So you can choose to just do a trauma informed session, which will help you release even if you don't know where that trauma is coming from exactly. And the trauma sensitive is more of a specific tailored approach to that individual, who would maybe know a bit more about their background, and where certain things have come from and certain life experiences they have had.
Mm-hmm. What would the benefits be that someone would see? So going to these yoga sessions, um,
So
yeah, like what would be
sorry.
no, I'm just thinking, I'm putting words in your mouth. I'm trying to think of what it would be, because obviously trauma affects everyone. So I'm just trying to see how that would ripple out into all different aspects of their life.
Sure. So lots of different ways. For example, let's take breath work. So if you're using these certain patterns of breath work that I would go through with you, you will naturally find that if you're in a situation where you're feeling slightly anxious, or you are in a situation that's quite triggering for you, and you just use those breath work techniques, it automatically just relaxes your nervous system. So you're able to just, you know, be there and just relax for a moment, rather than being in fight or flight, which is what a lot of people who have experienced trauma will be in most of the time. And when they encounter a triggering situation, their body just thinks that they're in danger, so they automatically, their nervous system is on high alert, and they start panicking, they start getting heart palpitations and things like that. So the breath work will stop that quite quickly. There's things like tapping that can help as well, and then there's certain movements. So if you just do legs up the wall, if you're feeling really jittery, then that will automatically bring your body back into balance. So it's little things like that help in the long run, because then you just become so accustomed to it, and then when you're in a situation where you feel like you need these tools, it's very quickly for you to come down from that level of being heightened.
Mm-hmm. And where did it begin for you then? So yoga.
So yoga, oh God. So yoga, I've been practicing yoga for years and years now. I probably started when I was around 12 years old. It's, the cultural background of yoga has always been a part of my life. My parents are from India. So yeah, movement, meditation, that's all been embedded from a very long time for me. So I've been practicing for what seems like forever. It just feels like my life, to be honest. It doesn't feel like it's a practice for me. I moved towards trauma quite a few years ago, with my own challenging mental health journey, with my own physical health journey, and I have also worked in special education needs schools. I have worked in prisons and psychiatric wards and things like that. So my journey with trauma has been more of a personal one, and the use of yoga and breathwork has just really been life-changing for me. So I just absolutely love sharing that experience with everyone else who it might help.
That's amazing. And what about your yoga for hen and stag experience? What can people expect there?
So this is slightly different. I mean, everything I teach will be trauma informed, so there won't be any hands-on adjustments. I don't ever do any touch work, because I do believe that nervous systems are very fragile, and when you touch someone, you are automatically touching their nervous system. So you have to be really careful with what you're doing. That's just my personal opinion. Everyone comes from their own background, so that's absolutely fine. It's no right or wrong. this is more fun. So, you know, I've done quite a few hen parties in the past. I've actually done a few stags actually, which have been really lovely. And yeah, we can do it's a group setting. It's just for you to be able to connect, you know, with your friends, with your family, with yourself. So it's just a more fun. There's a yoga routine, you have some breath work, and sometimes we do some oracle cards. You can also add on some food, you know, things like that. So you can have it outside, you can have it inside, you can have it, some people choose, if they're staying in an Airbnb, then I'll go to them and, you know, they can just be in their pajamas or something if they've been out the night before. So it's just, you know, a real relaxing and different experience to what you would usually do on a hen or stag. So yeah, they tend to be quite popular actually.
Yeah, that sounds really fun. I really like that. And where do you do that? The same kind of areas that you mentioned before?
Yeah. So again, it would be, I mean, for the hen and stag, I can do it online, but people prefer for it to be in person for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, it would be in Cambridge and in London and in various locations. So yeah, it's quite
Cool.
flexible.
Well, perfect. I loved hearing about your experiences. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank
And
you.
if you are interested in Heemali's, I said it right,
Yeah.
experiences, then please seek her out on the website. Thank you so much.